Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World and the Off-Grid Project with Bison from Buggingin and I.
Hey gang.
And we've got our main bug out kits. I've got my long-term survival bag here with me, and I'm going to go and empty this all out. And the reason is to go through it, figure out what I can take out and what I'm going to add to it, because it's been a few years and I really got to decide what I'm going to carry. And you've got what with you now?
Now everything you see here is what normally lives in the FJ, which is at the body shop right now. If everybody saw my last video, I told you what was going on with that. And this is pretty much, the FJ is a mobile bug out vehicle. So if I'm at work or away from the house where all my preps are, this is going to sustain me for several days in some type of scenario. We don't know what's going to happen, hurricane, anything like that. And if certain roads are closed and I can't get home, I have to go into the woods or an impromptu stay somewhere, I've got food and clothing and shelter and medical supplies and survival and vehicle maintenance. So we're going to look through that and figure out what's too much, maybe just too little. We'll look at some of the redundancies, we'll look at some of the weight, and just going to evaluate some of that, because it is an awful lot of stuff. And you know, situation happens and I'm one guy, this is a lot. I mean, mainly here, the multicam 511 Rush 72 would be my get home bags. If I had to abandon the vehicle, and that's it, I have to abandon everything, I just throw this pack on, there's enough stuff in here to get me home, you know, if I have to hike several miles or something. And then if it's a longer place and I can find a place to build shelter, I've got more than enough stuff here for myself and if I have a passenger. And if I do have to abandon the FJ, I got the pack. And if I do have to head to the hills or something, I've got a very, very large duffel here where all these little tiny pouches that are normally mounted to the back of the FJ, they're removable. I can load this up, have my passenger carry this, and I got that pack, and we're pretty much good to go with all the stuff that's here. So we'll see, we'll evaluate it, we'll look through it, and try now to determine what's too much or too little, or if there's something missing that should be part of this kit.
Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to empty our bags. I'm going to fast forward the next section, and we're just going to lay our gear out. I mean, you do however you want. I'm going to lay my own out, how it's going to best help me, and then we'll come back to normal speed, and we'll talk about our gear, and we'll analyze it, and you know, we'll go from there. Okay. So I'm going to pause the camera a second, restart, so I know where to cut, and it'll be fast forward from that moment on, just for your entertainment.
Medical, survival, hygiene, with the exception of the tools. That's mainly for the FJ. Can all fit in this one duffel. So between this duffel, that duffel, and my backpack, 9 times out of 10, if I'm in the field with a worker, I've got somebody with me. So we can all grab items and head wherever if a situation arises and we cannot get out with vehicles, or we're trapped and the vehicle is just pretty much a big useless machine and we have to take our gear and go. And the other idea behind everything is, if a situation comes where you do have to bug out and my 72-hour and all my bag and all my preps are at home, this is it. Everything you see here is all I have to survive, provided one day you can ever get back home or whatever. This is it. These are all the items I have. So some things may seem redundant and ridiculous, too heavy and too much, but if this is all you have long term, in case something happens, you have to be someplace for months, you need this stuff. So we're going to look through the stuff a little bit closer and appreciate the questions and comments and concerns. So here we go, let's get into it.
Well, I missed the first part of what Bison was saying, but I'll just reiterate. There's my main bug out bag, contents from here over. Alright, this is my primary bag that I have actually carried for the better part of 7 years since I've been in New York. And I have to, with the addition of a couple knives and things that Bison just gave me today, and my cold steel, the cold steel knife, which I tossed in there not long ago. Most of this stuff has always been in here. And I'll show you the stove, which is now going to be my favorite best, which, well, I showed it earlier, I think a little bit. And I'm going to get rid of the MSR, which I don't have the stove with me right now. It's not in my bag because I was already taking it out. Didn't get the fuel out yet. But anyway, I am going to go over my gear and reduce weight and reduce mass and fine-tune what I carry. I want to start carrying more food and less other redundant gear. So it's going to be a little bit of a task because we are in upstate New York where there is cold weather, wet weather, hot weather, and you've got to be prepared for whatever season if you have to grab your bag and go. And Bison, his gear is from here over, and there's his primary bug out bag, and then here's his vehicle gear, what stays in there at all times that he can throw in the duffel bag and take out if he has to in a hurry. So, well, I think eventually later I'm going to go through this. I think right now I'm going to shut off my camera and talk to Bison a bit about gear and get ideas and trade suggestions and ideas on gear and what we think is redundant, what we should keep, and refine our bags. And then later I think it's a good deal if we both do our videos separate on these bags independently when we have more time. So, alright, well, let's get to it. Let's see what we think of our gear, eh?
Alright.
There's my Canadian border accent. Yeah, eh?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I'm from Michigan.
I saw that. I heard that.
Well, let's put down our cameras and get going, huh?